D, would you hear the topic of the conversation here? What do you think about the way running backs and teams trying to build around them?
Well, I think we're in a different era now, Greeny. We're in the era of obviously passing the football, and I look at Christian McCaffrey. He's an outlier, simply because I look at him as a weapon. You talked about how he's, last season he had 1,000 rushing yards and 1,000 receiving yards. To me, that's the template. If you want to try to get paid as a running back, you're going to need to be that involved in the passing game. You can no longer be that guy that be that workhorse, type of running back. That's not good enough in this era of football. You have to be a difference maker in the passing game. And then another point I want to make as far as Mark Ingram is concerned is these guys coming into the NFL, I think they're the easiest position to assimilate to the National Football League, but they also take the most punishment. And their career doesn't last as long as other positions. So you combine those things, and that's really why the running back position doesn't really get paid like the other positions in the National Football League.
Look, if you just do the math, you take a running back in the first round, you get him for 5 years, you can franchise him twice. That's 7 years, and at that time, as a general rule, these guys are on the other side of their apex. Rex, you are the king of ground and pound. You believe in this, but do you want to build a team around one great running back, or you want a bunch of good ones that you can keep rotating in and out of there?
Well, Greeny, I would love to have one bell cow. Like if you had a Derrick Henry, a Christian McCaffrey, then that's great. Absolutely. But the fact of the matter is these guys get hurt, and you better have a backup regardless. Even if you have that bell cow, you better have somebody behind it. But to me, I always love the superstar type player. And by the way, we were ground and pound because, what, we're going to throw it every snap? That we were built to run it. But the thing is, Christian McCaffrey, D Wood makes some great points, because Christian McCaffrey is not just the best runner on your football team, he's the best receiver on your football team. So to me, if they're not going to pay him, trust me, there'll be 31 other teams willing to pay Christian McCaffrey.
I get it. And Dan Graziano, we said the same thing about Le'Veon Bell, and we say the same thing about a lot of these running backs now who are, if you will, the double threat with the ability to run it and the ability to catch it out of the backfield or even line up out wide. But that doesn't change the fact that they still wind up getting hit much more than players at any other position.
Right. When we see the running back contracts, we see, Gurley, David Johnson, Le'Veon Bell, all were guys that were involved in the passing game, and that helped them get those big numbers. That's why the Alvin Kamara situation in New Orleans will be interesting to watch. How do they value him? His numbers aren't McCaffrey numbers, but he's an essential part of that offense in a number of ways. So he might have an argument to get a relatively big running back contract. But the facts are teams perceive these guys as replaceable. Both starting running backs in the Super Bowl this year were undrafted, and both of those teams were using committee running back situations all year.
Yep, I think that's the reality of the situation as we speak right now. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.